In this video, we'll be discussing on the new lesson of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And this is chapter 6 of part 2, How to Make People Like You Instantly. So let's see a story of a clerk. I was waiting in line to register a letter in the post office at 33rd Street and 8th Avenue in New York. I noticed that the clerk appeared to be bored with the job, weighted envelopes, handing out stamps, making change, issuing receipts, and the same monotonous grind year after year. So I said to myself, I'm going to try to make that clerk like me. Obviously, to make him like me, I must say something nice, not about myself, but about him. So I asked myself, what is there about him that I can honestly admire? That is sometimes a hard question to answer, but especially with strangers, in this case, it happened to be easy. I instantly saw something that admired no end. So, while he was waiting my envelope, I remarked with enthusiasm, I certainly wish I had your head of hair. He looked up, half startled, his face beaming with smiles. Well, it isn't as good as it used to be, he said modestly. I assured him that although he might have lost some of his pristine glory, nevertheless, it was still magnificent. He was immensely pleased. We carried on a pleasant little conversation, and the last thing he said to me was, many people have admired my hair. I'll bet that the person went out to lunch that day walking on air. I'll bet he went to home that night and told his wife about it. I'll bet he looked into the mirror and said, it's a beautiful hair. I told this story once in public, and a man asked me afterwards, what did you want to get out of him? Hmm. If we are all so completely selfish that we can't radiate a little happiness and pass on a bit of honest appreciation without trying to get something out of the person in return, if our souls are no bigger than sour crab apples, we shall meet with failure we so richly deserve. Oh, yes, I did want something out of that person. I wanted something priceless, and I got it. I got the feeling that I had done something for him without his being able to do anything, whatever in return for me. That is a feeling that flows and sings in your memory lung after the incident is past. Law of human conduct always make the other person feel important. The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Little phrases such as, I am sorry for the trouble. Would you be so kind to do this XYZ thing? Wouldn't you please? Would you mind? Thank you. Little courtesies like these oil the cogs of monotonous grind of everyday life, and incidentally, they are the hallmark of good breeding. So now let's hear the story of Chris. Who is Chris? Chris was a very quiet, shy boy, lacking in self confidence, the kind of student that often does not receive the attention he deserves. I also teach an advanced class that has grown to be somewhat of a status symbol and privilege for a student to have earned the right to be in it. On Wednesday, Chris was diligently working in his desk. I really felt there was a hidden fire deep inside of him. I asked Chris if he would like to be in the advanced class. How I wish I could express the look on the Chris's face, the emotions in that shy 14-year-old boy trying to hold back his tears. Who, me, Mr. Roland? I am good enough. Yes, Chris, you are. I had to leave at that point because tears were coming to my eyes. As Chris walked out of the class, seemingly 2 inches taller, he looked at me with the bright blue eyes and said in a positive voice, thank you, Mr. Roland. Chris taught me a lesson I will never forget. Our deep desire to feel important. Talk to people about themselves and they will listen for hours. It's a basic principle of human. And the principle of this video, aka this lesson, is make the other person feel important and do it sincerely without greeding for any results. Thank you.